draft and free agency behind us. Today we're looking at ground games. And here's something that may surprise you, ladies and gentlemen, as you take a look at some of these numbers. And please notice what a great job we do in the studio moving our screens around. Over the last 17 seasons, if you draft a running back in the top 5, the next year your team averages almost 5 wins more than the previous year. That's the highest change of any other position. That's amazing. Quarterback gets you an average improvement of 3 wins, but if you hit on a running back in the top 5, the average, you take one. The average is 4.8.
Quarterbacks even plus?
Yeah, how about that?
Did you see the lineman?
Yeah. Look. Got to have the big man, brother.
Have the big dogs.
By the way, once again, roster renovation. While we're wearing this, shout out to
Linebacker.
United Health or whatever it is. What is it?
United Rentals.
United Rental. Thank you. Appreciate you. Sponsor of the show. Thank you, United Rentals. All right, so let's take a look at this, and we have some running backs here. Damien, you help us out here. Leonard Fournette, 4th overall.
Yep.
He was in that top 5, so according to the metric, they should win almost 5 more games, getting them close to 500. How many wins do you think he's good for this year?
Well, Trey, listen, I think along with a lot of other people, we jumped in that Jaguars bandwagon last year.
And we got burnt.
Yeah, we got burnt. So I'm going to give them +3. Okay. I think 6 and 10.
That's 5.
I think 6 and 10.
That's 5.
No, I'm just.
He's giving 5.
The tight team. I'm talking about the teams. I'm worried about the teams in the division.
They would clear Mo Wilkerson standard.
They would clear Mo Wilkerson standard. Listen, I think the Titans are going to be better.
Yeah.
I think the Houston Texans are going to be good. I'm just not sold that all of a sudden the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to make leaps and bounds and be in the postseason. I'm not there yet.
Well, listen, they just want to not draft in the top 5. They've drafted in the top 5 6 straight years, which is the record that they're adding to. They had the record at 5, and they added to it with 6. Okay, McCaffrey was outside the top 5, which means he's not in this +5 win category. He was 8th to Carolina. How many wins do you think he'll be good for?
Trey, I'm going to go +4.
All right.
Yeah, I think they can. I mean,
so you think they're going to flip it? 10 and 6.
I think they're going to flip it. Remember, Trey, a couple years ago, this team was 15-1. This team was in the Super Bowl.
Correct.
A couple years ago.
Almost ran the table.
Almost ran the table. So I think with McCaffrey, you're talking about a multifaceted weapon. Hopefully, take some pressure off Cam Newton. Don't have Cam Newton as exposed. You can play him in the backfield. You can play him in the slot. The return game. This guy can do a lot of things. I think the Carolina Panthers flip that 6 and 10, 10 and 6.
All right. Yeah.
I'd love to see Cam Newton find his check down and it being McCaffrey.
Be great.
But Cam Newton's check down are his legs.
Well.
And he always takes out front. I don't know.
Worst third down.
You're not feeling me right now.
Worst third down completion by any qualified back last year. The only quarterback, the only one under 50% last year, Cam Newton on third down. Okay, Dalvin Cook was not in the first round. He was in the second round. What's he good for in Minnesota? They were 8-8 last year.
Trey.
Oh.
Yeah,
6 and 10.
I'm not a believer in the Minnesota Vikings. I think the quarterback situation scares the offensive line in Minnesota.
It matters. It matters.
It's a very scary proposition. Plus the team, the Packers are the Packers.
Yeah.
They're going to be there. I think the Detroit Lions, they're getting better, especially up front. Yeah. I think the Minnesota Vikings take a little bit of a step back. I got a -2.
So you got them at 6 and 10. All right,
yeah.
We'll see what happens there. Meanwhile, more on running backs. Let's bring in Josina Anderson, who has clearly bought in. Josina, you bought in, right?
Only for you, Trey. I'm
Thank you.
completely brought in, yeah.
Thank you very much. Hey, you spoke with Dalvin Cook. By the way, the reflection on these things is amazing. How is he getting acclimated to becoming a pro?
Well, they are just coming off rookie camp out there in Minnesota, and he told me, you know what, Joe, it was actually pretty easy. He feels like 3 seasons at FSU has him prepared. The other thing that I thought was interesting is that he said coaches already have him participating on special teams. He said Zimmer, Coach Polamalu, and Shermer said, just depending on how much you contribute on offense, we may need you there. But he said, you know what, this is something I did in high school. I was a little Devin Hester. I used to, quote, kill it. So he says, whatever they need me to do, I'll do. At the same time, he says, Latavius Murray has been very welcoming. He figures he can compliment him like a change of shift back, the same way he did Carlos Williams at FSU. So he's looking forward to that as well, Trey.
All right, quickly, I know you spoke with Jamal Charles as well. He's got that 1-year deal in Denver. What has he said about his rehab and C.J. Anderson?
Well, C.J. Anderson said that the best thing that he feels like Jamal Charles can do is basically add his home run ability. He said he has the ability to go 80 yards. And I said, wait a minute, you don't think you can go long too? He said, well, I feel like DRC would catch me from behind. Now, he also said that people in Denver are talking about who's going to start. Is it me or him? But he said both of them will have the opportunity to contribute in a big way. And knowing what I know about the running backs coach Eric Studesville, Monty Ball, and how he worked in Ronnie Hillman, there'll be a running back by committee, Trey.
All right, Josina, thanks very much. Teddy, we talked about rookies. Now let's talk about some of these veteran running backs.
Oh, guys,
that have changed teams. Beast Mode came out of retirement. You have Adrian Peters in New Orleans. We mentioned Jamal Charles. Rank your top 5 here, 5 to 1, biggest impacts veteran backs with their new teams.
All right, I'll take Eddie Lacy here and go at number 5. I put him down there because, I don't know how committed he is. That the weight is a problem, because if you come in July and August and you look great, that's fantastic. But you're going to gain weight over the course of the season. It's exactly what he did last year. So I don't know about Eddie Lacy and the weight problems. And the fatter you get, the slower you get. So that hurts. All right.
Can confirm.
Let's go
number 4.
I'm just saying.
Also,
hey, man,
the older
I'm
you
just
get.
saying. Yeah, I'm just saying, man.
That's why we said
be matter of fact.
Keep it all.
Play him at guard.
We
talked about this.
Processed
2 for
food,
1 with
stay
Eddie
away
Lacy.
from them. Gluten, dairy, whatever you got to take out. All right.
Take the avocado ice cream out of Brady's diet.
I'm going to go Latavius Murray here, number 2. Another big running back that should help out the Minnesota Vikings. Offensive line, one of the worst lines in sort of yards before contact, which means they can't stop penetration. They got a problem, but hopefully he can break some tackles of all the defenders that are going to be in the backfield, because the Minnesota Vikings offensive line, they just have problems.
Who's the 3?
Right. And 3, I'm going with Jamal.
Wow.
Jamal, I'm going in Denver just because.
Only 8 games played the last 2 years.
Even C.J. Anderson, this is going to be a part-time role. I'm going to say this because in his part-time role, he'll be more healthy, he'll be more fresh, and I think he'll give him more 10-plus yard runs. Those explosive sort of runs that I think he's going to be good at. So Jamal Charles, definitely on a part-time basis, yes, but the speed is still there. We'll see.
We got our top 2 now. Who comes in at number 2? Second biggest impact.
I'm going Adrian Peterson. Mark Ingram
not
number
happy.
2. Mark Ingram's not happy, but I still think, this isn't a huge impact here, because it's going to be a 1-2 punch, and I think Sean Payton understands that, how he is going to complement Ingram, and they're going to complement each other. Or if Ingram shows attitude problems or anything like that, okay, I got Adrian. I'm going to put him in. Adrian Peterson doesn't like his total. All right, I'm going to use Ingram. It's another way for a good head coach to play some mind games with his players and motivate them.
Who's number 1?
I'm going Marshawn Lynch.
Beast mode, baby.
I don't care if you've been gone for a year. Okay, I think he's motivated to play
Younger
back.
than Adrian Peterson.
Yes, to play back home in Oakland. And this is a guy that is, I would say, yes, behind the best offensive line out of the 5. Out of the 5 here up there in Oakland. And he is just going to love it, because yards after contact, a very difficult tackle. I remember when he was with the Buffalo Bills and I tackled him low, and I was like, he's still going. I was like, when's he going to stop? His lower body strength is so strong. He's been on the couch for a year, hanging out, and he's ready to play.
It's also been on that bike in Scotland throwing Skittles everywhere. He was also doing